What's going on, you guys? Welcome back. Your girl, Coach Keish. Today, we're going to be talking about being authentically you. Okay? Because I just want to say this, right? There's no one, I don't care if you're a twin, a triplet, a quadruplet, a quintuplet, I don't know anymore, but I don't care who you're like, whoever your twin is, or if you don't have one at all, there's no one in this world like you. And so you have to show up as you, because if you show up as anyone else, if you take on small roles of anyone else, the world is going to miss what you were born at this time in this day to do for this earth. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about 3 reasons why you should authentically be you. Okay. Clap it up. Clap it up. I want you to clap it up for who you are today. And like for real. Okay. So number one reason, I heard this quote yesterday that I'm going to share. This is going to be my number one reason too. It says, it was like, you are not superior or inferior to anyone. Just be you, right? And I was like, a lot of us, sometimes we get anywhere. We can go to a job. We could be on a team. We could be in a relationship. We could be in friendships. We could have siblings. We could be anywhere, and it feels like we're competing with somebody, right? We got to be the best one, right? We got to do it better. We got to, we are pushing ourselves to compete or be at this high level or this certain level compared to someone else, right? But in the zone of understanding that you're not superior or you're not inferior, all your job is to be you, then that's when there is no competition. So when people like there's no competition in my lane, and when they like I'm in my lane, that's what it truly means to be in your lane. The only way that we find competition is because of those 2 things, right? Because we feel like we're inferior to someone, and if you feel like you're inferior, you're lower than somebody, then you're going to constantly have to fight to find your value, constantly have to fight to climb up the ranks, constantly have to fight to do all of these things, right? And that becomes dangerous because the message that you're sending yourself is, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, and that is far from the truth. And then also, you see the opposite, right? When people are superior, let's talk about that too, right? You might have that person who they get into a boss role and all of a sudden they start looking down on everybody. They want everybody else to do the work. We're not superior either. And I feel like this one right here, I'm going to spend a little bit of time on, is one of the most important things to talk about, because being superior means, for me, it means getting out in the field. You'll see, I love those kind of posts, right? A real leader leads from the front, right? Not from the back where they like sitting back and be like, yeah, you do that. No, a real leader is a road runner. A real leader, type this down in the comment below, is a torch holder, right? A torcher, it's not a torcher, but a torch holder, right? A light holder. They bring light to the darkness. A real leader is the one who is in the forefront and doing the work and running hard too, because that is what you want your people to do, right? But so it's not about superior, is not about looking down on people. Nobody's superior. Your job, your role, none of that makes you superior. At the end of the day, all your job is to be yourself. Even when you're leading, we shouldn't view ourselves as being superior or better than anyone else. Even the Bible says that. It says, look at other people greater than yourself, right? Not saying, I'm not saying look at yourself as dirt, but treat people with value, right? If you value yourself a lot, value other people a lot too. All right, number 2. This one right here really is that your second reason to be authentically you is to release yourself from the opinion of others, right? Now, this one right here, I'm speaking from experience. This one right here, I'm speaking from this week's experience, from this last 2 days experience, right? When you are authentically you get to release yourself from others' opinions, right? Think about how many things you were creating or what you were doing or who you were becoming that you felt like, oh, hold on, I got the perfect example. You ever start a new job, right? And you see like the person who's been at that job for a long time, they're performing that job and some kind of excellence in your eyes, right? You're like, man, they're amazing. It's like going on the field for the first time and seeing a Kobe Bryant, right? And you're like, yo, Kobe is doing this. Like, how will I ever be that? When you decide to be authentically you don't have to fill Kobe's shoes, because Kobe already has shoes that he's wearing. When you decide that, you get to release yourself from that. I was battling this right now in the YouTube space, right? I was like, yo, I want to be a YouTuber. And I'm like trying to find my lane, right? Y'all know. Well, y'all don't know, but I was like, yo, I want to talk about God, right? Because I always find myself having these deep conversations about God with my friends, about health, about mindset, about these things, but they all kind of ultimately come back to God. So I was on YouTube sitting here trying to share a word of the day, but I'm like, or trying to share what God has downloaded my journal, but I'm like, that's not the structure that I talk to people in. That's not the structure of being authentically me. Like, yes, me being a believer is authentically me. However, me showing up and performing in that way is not, and I had to release myself from that. Not saying I'm never going to go back and share anything like when I get a revelation, but my realest information, my realest videos come from me being like this, from me having a conversation with you to encourage you to be yourself, to be myself, right? I feel like that's what made me who I was, right? That I could have conversations about God, but also about basketball, but also about money, but also about travel and all of these different things. I feel like, and I felt like I was losing myself. So ask yourself, like, are you being authentic wherever you are? Do you feel like you got to fit into one shape? Like, we are multifaceted human beings. So are you living in your full self, or are you living in a limited version of yourself to please the people for the expectations that you think they want? Not that they want, because no one probably even told you. You just think they want that. Think about that. And the last thing is that when you become authentically you, you get a endless amount of creativity, right? Because you don't have to think about it. It just comes. You know how, like, you know those thoughts you get, you just going for a walk or something like that, and the ideas just start flowing to you. But then a camera comes on and then you feel weird. You like, they like, yo, say what you just said. You like, It's like it automatically takes us out of that space of being ourselves. But we got to get to a space where we could be more creative, because we don't have the expectation. Just let the expectation down. So it's like you just can't care. You can't care, and you got to be creative. Like, it's like you don't have, this is the perfect thing, right? Like, say you're an artist. I got an artist friend, right? And I'm sure that whenever someone says, hey, I want a painting of a sunflower, it's easier for him to create versus them saying, hey, I want a picture of a sunflower with 3 dots, with 2. I want it to be smiling. I want the petals to be coming out like Nefertiti. All of this stuff right here, it takes away from his creativity. But when you give him the concept, make me a sunflower, I'm sure that sunflower that comes back is going to be like no other, because he was being able to authentically express who he is. There we go. That's the perfect analogy I'm trying to use. So that's what I'm saying, y'all. It's important to be us. And I just wanted to have that conversation real quick, because that one really hit home for me. It said, you're not superior or inferior to anybody. You're just yourself. And that's the easiest thing to be. Like, when you're doing that, you don't have to compete with no one else. You get to be more creative, and you get to set yourself free from whatever opinions you thought. And when you are set free from those opinions, how much more would you create videos? How much more would you? I know people who don't go to the gym because they said they think that people are watching them, even though they're not. And even if they are, so what? At least they at the right place to get fit. I know people who are like, I don't want to go to the gym because someone might be watching me. I know people who are like, I don't want to talk to that person because what if they don't want to be my friend? But it's like the moment that you just free yourself from all of that, it doesn't matter whatever the outcome is. It's still income for you because it's that you had the courage to do it. So I hope that you all are encouraged to authentically be yourself, to step out. And thank you for watching this video, y'all, and keep being great. Peace.